After leaving Unrest, Professor Gulliver led the group through the Lesser Feydark towards the Castle of Mistmoore. They were hoping to find more camps open. Will they succeed? The journey through the woods of the Lesser Feydark was quick. The bard was singing songs about his travels, and so the group was moving at a faster pace. They soon reached the entrance to the Castle of Mistmoore, but what they found inside was not exactly what they were looking for. The place was heavily camped. The Castle of Mistmoore is home to the vampire lord Mistmoore and his dark elf followers. It is a dangerous place filled with nobles by day and werewolves and vampires by night. But the problem for Lagar and his group was not the monsters lurking in the castle, but the living, who were swarming the place and killing every mob so that there were no experience to be gained. The entrance was camped by a group on one side and by a duo on the other. So Lagar and his friends went deeper, trying to get to the graveyard. As they were clearing the way, another group passed them by and pulled more mobs into them. Vecnar had to mass 2 more mobs as they went directly to the cleric of the group, Aramis. They reached the graveyard only to find out that another group was already camping the spot. So they had to change pits. Luckily, at the entrance of the other instance, there was a rare mob and they got some nice loot after killing him. This time, Lagar was impatient, and so he ran forward to make sure his group would get to the graveyard first. But in doing so, he only slowed down the process. Since he aggroed so many mobs, they had to stay back and fight. Soon they were overwhelmed and were forced to leave the castle grounds to lose aggro. They came back as soon as possible and finally got the graveyard camp. The other group went in as well, and so they had to fight for the camp. Lagar pulled all the mobs that they were capable of handling at once and DPS'd them down as fast as they could. The other group gave up and left. They had won the camp. Lagar could now explore the camp more thoroughly and enter the mausoleum to find more mobs to pull. He tried to find hidden doors, but what he discovered was a fake floor. He fell underground and quickly looked at the map to find his way out. He crossed the fake wall and was almost out, but some higher level mobs got to him. He tried to feign death, but we all know how poorly he faked his own death at this time. So, what ended up happening was a real death. Enter Mmore. The halfling rogue found his vocation at last. It was not all backstabbing and stealing, but also rescuing corpses of his deceased friends. This would not be the only time that he would provide the group his funeral services. After being resurrected by Aramis, Lagar took a long look at the map to find how he could fall so stupidly in that trap. Lagar found out that most of the mobs he was pulling would be coming from the corridor to the graveyard, and not the camp itself. So, after trying 3 times to get there and failing twice, the group discovered that the camp was not a good camp for them. So they went back to the entrance and made camp at the base of the tower guard. The experience got a lot better. There were much more mobs to pull. Although they were weaker, thus providing less experience per kill, they were many, so the XP per hour was greater. They could get the mobs from the entrance, the ones from the corridor, and the ones all the way up to and including the graveyard. Those nasty followers of the Vampire Lord were quickly being dispatched by Lagar and his group. When there were no mobs close to the graveyard, there would be some in the spot the group camped. The Dark Elves were not their only enemies inside the castle. Gargoyles came to life to defend their Vampire Lord more than once. Lagar would not wait for the current mob to be killed by his group to pull more. This way, he kept the experience rolling. Despite not being a particularly bad camp, they were still level 22 well deep into the night. To gain only 2 levels was not what they had intended when they left Unrest. To make things worse, new groups would come in every now and then and clear the mobs Lagar was pulling. The group had to make a decision, and fast. To become stronger, quicker, they had to go back to the state of unrest. They had to fight for the fireplace camp. Were they willing to do that? If they wanted to conquer unrest, they had to be. Like and subscribe to keep following the journey of Lagar and his friends. Thank you for watching, and until next time.